What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of the AF Minicast. I'm the Graphic Gangster. Small arms Danny over there. Got the low rim league commissioner, Tyler Treadway over there. And then also at the kitchen table, which I'm also currently sitting at, Mr. Cory G.
What up, what up, what up? I am part owner of the Low Rim League, and yes, Treadway is the Roger Goodell / what's the dude from the NBA?
Adam Silver.
Adam Silver of the Low Rim League. Stay tuned for more information on that. We are back. We did not have an episode last week, did we? Sorry about that, everybody, but we are back today, and I'm going to send it back to the smallest guy I've ever met in my entire life, Danny Walters.
Good to see everyone. So you came off G came off vacation recently. You're doing some crazy testing shit right now. So
yeah,
I'm gonna toss it back to the kitchen table.
Okay.
So we're gonna talk about what you did on vacation, coming out of vacation, what the fuck you're doing right now.
Sure.
The Graphic Gangster is gonna talk about his extreme AF extreme stuff. So we'll start there, then we'll move into some Q&A, and then a few more like rapid fire questions.
Yeah. Well, very similar to how just anabolic fasting started in general. It came from the Mario Di Pasquale anabolic diet. I evolved it to an intermittent fasting protocol, had my own spins on it that I learned from Eric Serrano and the stuff that, I was doing, and AF, anabolic fasting was kind of born, AF 101, right? Then it evolved 102, people do 101 and 1.5. We're going to have to talk about an extreme. There's AF 10 beer, which is also pretty interesting. AF for mass. There's a bunch of different versions. And so I'm always thinking through that lens. And in the marketplace right now, not only is creatine like being a crazy amount of marketing, shout out Muscle Bar.
I just finished eating that.
Make sure you get one, player. But fasting is hot right now. And really, the longer term fast is what's probably more of the topic of anything. And I'll be honest with you, I've only really done a 72-hour fast one time in my whole life. And that was when I was getting ready for a powerlifting meet. And I did feel that euphoric type of feeling. And I don't know. So it's kind of one of those things where I'm super curious. And on the Next Level call the other night, I asked everybody like one curious thing that they're working in their business or in life and one win that they had, right? So I was trying to think about mine, and this is definitely it. So I'm just really interested to know, like, is the autophagy, anti-aging stuff, I've been following a fasting protocol for like a decade. So I'm, no big deal. I planned on going 72 originally. I made it like 44. But I felt awesome the next day. So I was like, all right, fuck it. I'll do another 44, 48. And so I feel pretty awesome today. And, I'm trying to combine still a more keto AF 101 or whatever type of vibe on the food with then a little bit of a dirty spike, a little dirty Sanchez. And so, sorry, Danny.
That was a terrible plug.
Yeah. Anyway, a little dirty spike to really hit my insulin before bed because I'm eating. So what I've been doing is a 48-hour rotation of fasting for 48 hours. Now, here's the other thing is anytime I did a long fast, which I haven't really done this a bunch of times, I never had a sodium product I used. So that has made a huge difference using Endure or Amino Recovery, within those windows. And then just like last night I had, get ready for this, 2 9-ounce fillets with butter on them, probably about 1.5 cups of sunflower seeds shelled, 2 avocados, shout out Muscle Bar, 2 Muscle Bars, and then I got home because I had my Next Level thing last night online, and I was like, okay, what's going to be the dirty spike? And I was like, honestly, this goes all the way back to the original anabolic fasting when I really knew I had something. Was when I was smashing a whole bag of jalapeno potato chips every Friday and drinking beer, and I would get up the next day and look better because of that protocol. And so I was like, fuck it, I'm going back to the original reason. Like literally the one was the original one. I was like, I am fucking onto something. Small bag though, not the big bag. Small bag, jalapeno potato chips before bed. I woke up 2 days ago at 184.4. Today I woke up at 185.2. Definitely way tighter. Even Cullen came over to me in the gym and said like, gee, what you weigh today? Like I see a difference. And I was like, yeah, man. And I told him what I ate and he was like, fuck, man. So that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm going to do till Friday. then maybe do a 24 and then start the process again. I'm not telling people to do this yet. Like, I'm not telling you to do this. I'm just saying, like, as a practitioner, this is probably where I have the most fun. I'm trying it out, and it's actually really fucking easy to follow because I don't got to plan food like for basically almost 2 days at a time. So that's long-winded, but that's really what I've been doing. I'll throw it to Cole. He's been working on AF Extreme.
Yeah, so we talked about this in a few mini-casts ago, but I am basically doing a modified version of anabolic fasting, basically the OG anabolic diet, which is how anabolic fasting came to be, basically. But throughout my process, I've realized that if you follow AF 101 for a while, you're eating probably roughly 120-ish carbs.
It's not really low carb.
It's not. It doesn't feel like you're eating like good carbs, so it's coming in. But I've discovered that my body was just still holding on to too much of the glycogen from the carbs every day. So I'm going AF Extreme, which is basically fucking meat and fat every day, no more than
50.
Well, I originally started out for like 2 to 3 weeks. It was 30 grams of carbs.
Yeah, the original anabolic diet is 30 grams of carbs for 12 days.
So basically what I'm following is every day at lunch and dinner is protein and fat. And it's a lot of fucking fat. And not just a little bit of fat. Fat is like literally the main thing because I'm not eating carbs. I need the calories and shit from the fat. So I'm doing that. And then I started out at 30 grams of carbs. I've now bumped that up to around like 50-ish, in like 50 to 60, which in the book he talks about like after a few weeks, bump that up a little bit, which is mostly coming from the few grams of carbs that are in the guac cups I've been eating, and then the muscle bar. So,
yeah, because like a lot of people don't realize like a good size avocado has from 10 to 17 carbs. I didn't even know that. Yeah. I've been eating avocados every day forever. So in the anabolic diet book, he talks about how there's a lot of hidden carbs that people don't even know. And I would say that's probably a great example, or nuts too.
And especially if you eat nuts. So I stay away from nuts because there is a sneaky amount of carbs in there. Like the shit just adds up quick. And I'm trying to stay as low as possible. I eliminate the nuts.
How do you feel, Cole?
I feel awesome. And also another thing is I'm not spiking every night. Basically, I tried it the other night with the muscle bar. It was too long without carbs. Like throughout the day, like you
tried to hold them all the way.
I tried to hold it off and it didn't work. So I've been eating this. I ate this early this morning because I'm fucking feel like a machine right now. But usually like around 3-ish, 2 to 3-ish, I'll try to eat one of these. But no spike. And I think why the no spike is working for me is because after around 3 to 4 days of following this, I can tell my glycogen is depleted, and I'll hit it with the fucking ice cream and
you're spiking
the Reese cups.
Not as often.
Yes, but I'm not spiking as often, but I'm hitting a fucking midweek carb spike that is shooting me into another level, and I'll wake up, feel back to 1,000% tighter, all that stuff.
What I think is interesting, Cole, is I think through this process, you're going to shift your body to be able to do that. I almost feel like you needed to go through this to get to that.
Yeah.
Where some of the other people went straight to that. But if some people are, having that struggle, they could know, well, hey, maybe I just got to be way crazier for a little while longer to get to that. So,
and I think it's also just like my genetic disposition. Like my dad's naturally a bigger dude. Like my whole dad's families they're thicker, bigger guys. Yeah. It's really easy for me to fucking put on weight, to put on muscle. It's super fucking hard for me to lose weight.
Yep.
And I haven't lost any strength while doing this.
Yeah, you're strong right now.
The science behind it all makes sense, but the aminos has been a huge fucking thing.
Massive.
The sleep, like trying to sleep as much as possible, has been huge for this. And then I've been taking some fish oils.
There you go.
That's basically it. So
good. The original anabolic diet, the key is that you're able to manage the spikes, because the problem is like that's what I had a hard time doing, like to know when to hold it back, you know what I mean? And then also like you're at a point where you've been like now in this little category, but you're obviously your plan is to dip into the 70s, right? Yeah. I'll see you there, player.
I think to get to where I look fucking crazy nasty is probably 175 to 170. And I guarantee I'll still be able to bench 315 there.
Yeah.
And
so I also probably will end up weighing 175 to 77. Don't know that I'll still be able to bench 315, but I am going to be able to dunk my face off.
Yeah.
But what I think's been interesting for me is, and I think it's more of just the time I've done the same thing.
I think that's also a huge thing.
in this building, we've been following these type of protocols for like a decade. And so like, that's why I think the busy diet works so good initially, right? And then I really like to be able to speak on I like that I will be able to speak on longer like fasting stuff, because at the end of the day, if somebody asks me a question about that, I don't know. And that's really why I started intermittent fasting, which turned into anabolic fasting, because I already ate like this, like you're eating right now. I was already eating like that. Mm-hmm. And then I just shifted it. And what happened was that day when I was eating, because I was like, when I realized I had something, I ate that bag of potato chips on a Friday. I was at a bodybuilding.com thing. I'll never forget it. And I got up the next day and I was just training in the gym. I weighed like 185. And one of the dudes I was with was like, bro, you getting ready for something? I was like, nah. I was like, bro, I had a bag of chips last night. He's like, man, you look fucking like you're ready for something. And I was like, I was just so busy and I was just doing it. Yeah. And then I was like, all right. Then when I got a little bit leaner, I realized I couldn't even make it to Wednesday, Cole, with that type of diet. Yeah. And so I was like, that's where I came up with the daily spike. And then because I think I was already so like my shit was already on fire, I would get up and every morning I was able to kind of recreate that. And I noticed my sleep went up. And so, but I think that I was already there. And so I think we've got a lot of people there from that. But if there's people that have already, like you also incrementally brought yourself down. Yeah. And it was almost like necessary for you to go to the next level.
Yeah. Cause I mean, before I did this, I was trying to eat low carb. I don't think my fats was high enough, but probably 70 to 80. But in the book, he talks about like, and I was thinking about this, like if someone's been doing 101 to start to see if this works. I went super extreme. I went to 30. Actually, the first week I was doing 10. Yeah. Like I was trying to eat no carbs basically. Sure. And we said no, eat the 30. Yeah. But in the book he talks
because the 30 is not even that much anyway. Once you
talks
track
about
it.
like a mild adaptation phase would to be drop it to 60. So instead of eating 2 bags of mixed veggies a day, I bet if you just ate 1. Yep. And then you could probably still do a spike. And
I forget in the book, but I almost feel like you're eating a high level of fat. You turn from, burning fuel on carbs to burning on fat. You shift it on the weekend to eating more carbs. Your insulin and all your hormones spike up, and you're not eating as much fat, so your body starts eating its fat.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Like okay. That's the whole point.
That's the whole point.
And I've realized that like Thursdays have been the days where I feel like I need the carbs because I go clean Sunday, and then basically today, like tonight, I'm probably going to do it. And then Friday, I have no reason to really like fucking go out and like do anything. So like I'll eat clean, and then Saturday, that's like my other day, basically.
Good for you, Cole.
Yeah.
Happy for you, man.
So I weighed 182 on Monday. Like I think it was last week I weighed like 181, like 0.8 or something like that. But I mean, shit, Sunday night, because I went golfing and had too many beers. Sunday, I went to bed at like 188. And then Monday, I felt kind of like, oh, something's going on. And then I woke up at 182.
Well, I had my big meal on Monday night, woke up Tuesday at 184 and was like, wait, today Thursday? Maybe it was 186. Then I weighed 186 that night. Yeah. And then woke up Wednesday at 184, woke up today at 185. I don't know how I'm not like, after we play tonight and with not eating today, essentially, I don't know how I'm not like 83 tomorrow. Yeah. Like I think I'm going to be in the 70s in like 2 weeks this way. That's the plan. So anyway, I think this is a good dialogue. I think this will be good for YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube right now, fucking subscribe. We're talking. We got that game. So
are you planning on taking anything before we play? Like no Endure?
Oh yeah, I took Endure this morning.
Are you going to take another one? Yeah,
because I did do some conditioning this morning because I wasn't going to do any, but I still did 40 minutes, kind of more like to listen to the podcast and stuff. So I did shoulders, I did 40 minutes, but I've been doing 60 minutes, 3.0, 10% after lifting. I was shifted back to after lifting, which does feel better. And 40 minutes, hopefully play around an hour, maybe a little over tonight. And then, yeah, my plan is to, like, I guarantee by the time I eat on Friday, specifically because of tonight, I'm going to be fucking hungry. But I'll be interested to see, like, how my body feels. I've never used one. Obviously, we have a new application of the creatine bar, so I think that's helping. So, and Endure, like that combo with even the fasting long time. Like, I wasn't even hungry yesterday. Like, I got time to eat. I was excited to eat. Because you think you're eating 4 times a week.
No, yeah.
That's, like, kind of crazy to me if I say that out loud. But I've been locked on the amount of business and just the stuff that we're executing right now because I don't know. And even when I ate all that food, I didn't even get tired.
Oh, yeah.
So my insulin sensitivity has changed just in a week or two, which is also kind of wild. So when I felt that, I was like, I probably ate, dude, that bag of chips, it's like 1,000 calories of jalapeno chips. And dude, I guarantee like 18 ounces of filet mignon's got to be. So I don't know how many, I need to add it up. I don't know how many calories I ate, but I didn't even get tired. I had like a surge of energy. It's literally it's AF 48. So it's like you're feasting, but I'm making sure that the first amount of stuff is all really, really healthy or quality, like I would eat anyway. And then I almost didn't do the chips last night, but I was like, you know what? I really am trying to like give myself like a science project opportunity. And my pumps were so good when I did this the first time that I was like, fucking, I got a good pump today, but I don't even think the carbs have dropped in yet. I think we'll see how basketball goes tonight, but I think the arm day, in theory, I should feel even better. I don't know. So it's kind of exciting because it's less prep and, you know, I mean,
really, if you think about it, all we're doing is the conjugate method of dieting.
That's correct.
That's basically it.
And I think I need to remind myself, Cole, that even as really like as structured and as strict per se, I got used to carbs because I was eating probably like I thought I was eating like 100. I was probably eating like 250 now that because I don't count anything. And, you know, it's just been a good change. And it'll be a good, like, I think we do one really long podcast at some point where we go through each version of it. Yeah. Like from how it was created to what the different variety is. And then we can do some type of little mini book or something. I think it'll be cool.
That'd be really
so,
good.
Yeah, man. So good talks. What we got, Danny? Treadway?
Well, we're going to throw out the Treadway for the G Social Q&A. We got 3 questions.
Cool.
Shout out to everybody who submitted a question via G Social. We appreciate it. We're going to start with the first one. How do you appreciate the growth, change, and success while also keeping the train on the tracks? The awareness of how far you've come, but realize the job is not finished.
This is from Darren. Who's that
John
from?
Jostin.
Oh, John Jostin. I knew it was somebody from the group. So, man, I think I've heard this from a lot of people that have had some type of success. Like, I don't really feel like I think I'm a successful person, but I don't feel like I'm ultimately like stamped success. Like there's a difference, right? Where some people are just like, well, I don't know that anybody really feels that way, to be honest, because I think the mountain, you get to the top of one mountain and you're at the bottom of another one. And I would say that probably one of the things that I'm searching for to some degree is like, where is the enough at? Because that's like a question that if you want less things, then it's like, that's the same as have like two things. This is kind of complex. If you've achieved things, it's easy to then go, I don't really need those things. If you've never achieved them, then some people might be like, you're saying that just because you ain't reached it yet. So there's 2 different ways, right? I've achieved a lot of the things that I ever thought was even possible for myself. So that if I don't continue to partake in those material items or lifestyles, I know what they are. So I don't really have to wonder, right? So I'll never be mad about that. But I don't get up, like I look at last year, like I got my ass kicked, but I built an island. Who would ever think that that's how I think? That is how I think though. Last year was very difficult. Reforming the business, everybody fucking working the amount of hours we had to, some of the stuff that went on internally, like it was all like group effort. It was difficult, but the reality was like, and we were executing the island. It was fucking hard. So I didn't get up and go, boom, like I'm successful. I think that my plan is like to have a long career that is looked upon as successful. And there's times that are higher or lower. Keeping it on the tracks comes down to the daily habits, the consistent behavior, continuing to have goals that are important to me, and really looking at it as more of that like that Bernard Shaw or the LP Jacks quote about like, can you tell whether it's work or play? Back to like the low rim league, or really just lifting weights and getting paid in some, indirectional way. I would think I confuse a lot of people because I don't think they can tell. And that really is success to me. And I heard Naval Ravikant, I think his name is. I've just listened to him the other day on Chris Williamson's podcast. And he said he thought one of the biggest flexes is you don't have a schedule. And that someone else got him onto that. And I'm thinking, I just started having a schedule because of my one-on-one clients. I don't want to miss them or whatever. And, there's a freedom to it that to me feels successful. And so I don't know. I haven't really had a hard time keeping it on the tracks all the way since I was 240 that one time. When I was 240 that one time, it felt off the tracks. And the amount of stress that I was dealing with, the amount of money, the amount of opportunities though too. But once I got ready for that first cover, I don't know that there's been a period of time where probably over a few months that I was like out of the rhythm. I also think that's probably why I'm here, because I was able to keep that momentum going, maybe not at the highest level the whole time, but at a level that continued to move forward. And so I would say you need to make sure that there's something in front of you that is moving the needle enough to keep you on the tracks so your fall off isn't too great and your highs aren't too high. And I think that's really ultimately why I've been able to, I think, like continue to win. I don't know. That's probably my best answer. It's a little bit long-winded, but.
Sick. If you have time to only do the pump 30 or lunges, like say you wake up late and you only have 30 minutes to train, which one are you going to pick?
Who asked that question? Do you have it still?
No.
I was going to find anybody I know. Listen, at the end of the day, the streaks are usually within the conditioning. And if I have a choice, whether I'm lunging, walking on the treadmill, or whatever my conditioning choice is in training, and depending on what's kind of going on, like if I've got like I'm probably going to pick the conditioning just if it's a one-off thing. Long term, I would not pick that probably. But like if it's a Tuesday and I got to jump on a plane, this is a great example. It's Tuesday, I got to jump on a plane and I got to pick one or the other, I'm probably going to do the conditioning, because the conditioning is going to lend to me still looking and feeling the way that I'm going to look. The arm pump, I can throw in it a different day, or I'll just skip it till next week, whatever. I probably hit at least a little bit of biceps during my back workout or whatever, right? So that's the way I would look at it. If it was like long periods of time, I don't know about that answer, but I would say like in this case, 100% pick the conditioning, but make sure you're doing the mental part, because I'm really more probably addicted to that part. You're doing the mental and you're still getting the physical, and then you just do the body part another time, or you just skip it till the following week. That's how I would do it.
Last one. What's next for Max Effort / Cory G? A new type of pump 30 workouts on the horizon, or more longevity, lifestyle focused things?
Well, I think that's a great question. Those are both kind of the same answer, because Pump 30 is a version of a longevity situation, I think, for myself and some of the members. I think the other thing is what's on the horizon is going to be continually to double down on the communities and to offer even more experiences. And we saw some amazing results so far, and I really believe that's contributing to these businesses being even more closely related, the communities being closely related with G-Social and the in-person events. And just like the road to Muscle Island, I think will be interesting, because we're going to drop that in a couple weeks for that, like, you know, to help with that like 8-week thing, and for some of the events we're going to do on the island. And that's really a mix of like Pump 30 in a version of Conjugate for those events, which should be kind of fun. So that'll be kind of what's on the newest thing. Me and Kyle are going to shoot that soon. And yeah, other than that, we're just going to continue to double down on the community, get better, offer more resources, do more content that you guys really want. And so we can just all keep getting better. And I'm really trying my best with the guys to create a year-long schedule that will contribute to you feeling good, having things on the calendar, having experiences, and continue to get better. Meaning, I got here because I went from bodybuilding show to powerlifting meet to fitness cover shoot, whatever, and I did that shit for years. What I'm trying to get you guys is from I Want Abs to the beats and barbells to the mini shred contest to the island, and then so on and so forth. So you have a calendar that we've proven that are events that enrich your life and make you feel better and give you a reason to train, and a community that's supportive. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what we're building with the Max Effort Mafia subscription. And it's super fucking cool. And I wish I would have done it a lot earlier, to be honest. So there you go. We should cut that for social.
All right, we're going to go ahead and shift gears to this isn't exactly what Cole does with Uncle Cory, but I guess somewhat similar structure.
Cool.
But like this is just more along the lines of ab related things. Mm-hmm. So like the first one, so everyone's getting older, everyone's getting more responsibilities, and training's different, all this kind of stuff, right? So the results are going to get only harder to get the abs and shit. That's like facts. That, right? So what's the real secret to getting abs when you're over 30 years old?
Over 30 years old. This is kind of funny when I hear the 30 mark, because I didn't even start squatting every day till I was 35. Like, so my volume, and probably why you know me, like, that is from after 35, because I've never looked at numbers that way, like age wise. And so that's kind of a little bit of a weird question, but I will say this. If I don't run into lunging, I think it's way harder for me to get leaner during those years. I think the lunges for that decade took my metabolic rate. Dude, I'm telling you, at times it felt faster than when I was in my early 20s. Like, it was crazy. And so I think I ran into, I was chasing it, I think, some fucking crazy shit to like really change it up. The squat every day and the lunges, I think, I would argue probably changed like a lot about how my hormones would have been operating during that time, combined with anabolic fasting. And so I think that you have to think all of them have to be in line. You don't get, if you were a pretty lean 22 or 23-year-old because you played sports or you're still playing rec ball or whatever, you're not going to be able to get away with that same shit anymore. So like you might have been able to eat halfway decent, which compared to like what my understanding of halfway decent is probably pretty crappy because of like, that type of like mindset. But it's like, you're going to have to be like 85 to 90% on your diet. You're going to have to not miss workouts. You're going to have to actually take it serious if you want to have similar results, unless you're like, got a God-given metabolic rate. And the reality is people want to do less and look how they used to look. And it's not the way it fucking works. So you have to really take the strategy serious as you get older. I will tell you this last time that I'm dieting right now, it's taken way longer and I've had to try some new things. I don't fucking like it. It probably is because of my age, because I'll be 47 in September. And so if that's the reality of it, when I get back down here, I'm not letting it fucking go again. I'll tell you that, because I'm like, this time's taking a little bit longer. And I think it's because my body's probably a little bit more stubborn. I've never rested on those things, but I'm sure they contribute to it. They have to.
Yeah. So what would be the top 3 things you would tell someone to do right away if you're over 30?
You have to get real boundaries around alcohol and your fucking cheating. You have to get real boundaries around that. Don't be entitled and fucking think you're sweet that you can drink Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and that you can eat, I just had 2 pieces of pizza Tuesday, and I just had my kids' macaroni and cheese. It was just a little bit left over. It doesn't fucking work. Like, it doesn't work unless you're already elite and you've stayed that way. And so that's what you have to know. That is the truth. I'm telling you the fucking truth. So don't tell me I'm eating okay, I don't know why I'm getting results. If you are doing what I just said, that is not what you're doing. You are not following anything to where your body can actually understand what's going on to give you the results. So I think that you have to get real boundaries around bad food and alcohol. If you do that, that will definitely help. So I think that's the number one, because I think that's what everybody gets loose on. They're really busy at work. They're stressed out. Let me get a Busch Light. Let me get a fucking bourbon. Let me do this. That leads to you not wanting to get up in the morning. That leads to, you know what? Let me just grab that Kit Kat before I go to bed. I do the same shit. I just do it on Friday and Saturday. You know what I mean? So I'm not casting stones, but I'm just giving you reality that because you go to Olive Garden on fucking Wednesday afternoon with your friends and eat all the fucking breadsticks, that's not going to contribute to you losing weight. You just have to fucking know that. And there's a million people who come on here and say, there's people that lose weight on eating white bread because they count calories. Fuck off. It's just not reality. It's not what's happening. And maybe there's, one fucking person that did that. Well, I don't know more than 1 or 2 people that have ever fucking, and they look like shit. So if they look like shit, but they lost 10 pounds, is that what you want? Get the fuck out of here. Like it's just a discipline amount of things that have to happen, and you have to face the reality of it. And I'm the fucking truth teller, because I work my ass off eat fucking damn near perfect all the time, and it's still hard. So if it's my job and I'm telling you this, like, you should fucking think, well, I need to really take this serious. You know what I mean?
So, okay. And then this last question is kind of like a two-pronged approach here.
Two-pronged. You like
so
two prongs,
we talked about, I mean, this is one of my favorite terms that you've ever said, but undercover huge.
Yes.
Right? So
that's me.
So there's this weird dynamic between like being able to build muscle and losing fat, right? Mm-hmm. Can you do both at the same time? So why don't you address that specifically? Can you build muscle while losing fat? Yeah,
I think you can. You can build muscle and lose fat at the same time. But here's the problem. Drug-free, because I've only been drug-free. I only know that way. You're going to gain, if you're great, a couple pounds of muscle a year, maybe. Like, I graduated high school with like maybe one ab line at 165 pounds. At my peak, looking my best, I weighed 192 pounds, leaner than I was at 165 when I graduated high school. So let's call it almost 30 pounds of muscle. You know, there's somebody who'll watch this and be like, this dude don't know what the fuck he's doing. That's not true. I do know what I'm doing. And I put on that amount of lean tissue over time from all the training, right? All the volume, all the nutrition, all the fucking covers, whatever. And so the reality is, people will maybe lose 15 pounds. Could they gain 1 or 2 pounds of muscle? Or could they get newbie gains because they're actually training differently? Like, a lot of people come to my protocols and their body has never grown like that before because they've never trained this way. And so some of the volume, some of the old 70s stuff, some of the conjugate. And so the reality is, yes, you can do that, but you can't have an unrealistic expectation for yourself. See, that's, I think, the fucking problem. Somebody will get an in-body scan or the DEXA and be like, oh man, I only gained a half pound muscle, but I lost 12 pounds, and they think they suck. Do you? But in a year, it's going to be, you know, you're trying to, if you can keep the tissue while you losing the body fat's huge. But most of the time, if you're doing what you should, your lean tissue can go up, your body fat can go down. So you 100% can do that. At the end of the day, all of this shit just comes down to, are you taking it serious enough? I mean, are you half-assing this shit? Are you serious? Do you really want to change? Or are you just saying you want to fucking change? Well, you can tell by listening to me, I'm about actually changing. I'm about actually helping people change. I'm not out here just blowing a bunch of fucking smoke. We're putting together real ass fucking transformations that have changed people's lives. And if you're trying to fucking do that, you have to have some of these boundaries and realistic expectations. And then, you know, through that and through some of them disciplines, there's a lot of like what people believe are wild, you know, results because they're in line and following all these things. So, that good?
Perfect. All right. That concludes the minicast. Cool. Take us out, Susak.
Yeah. I'll work with the song. All right. This is another great episode of the AF minicast. I'm the Graphic Gangster. Small arms Danny over there. Low Rim League Commissioner Tyler Treadway.
So good.
Mr. Cory G. We'll see you next week.